In this video, I will go over one of the principles of how to win friends and influence people, as well as the addition to that from another book that I highly recommend. What is this principle? Simple. Smile. This principle sounds so basic, yet it is extremely powerful because it is by smiling that we show other people our friendliness and our openness to talk to others, which is an important part of communication. Because if you're frowning all the time and you're talking, your tone changes. You sound more gruff, and people don't want to interact with you as much unless they want something from you and they're forced to speak with you. And that is why I like to smile when I speak, and even when I'm walking around, I like to have a resting, smiling face. Another good reason is I believe having a smile on your face will make you more attractive. For example, I look through pictures of myself and pictures of me frowning like this look uglier to me than pictures that look like this. The simple act of smiling made me more attractive. So for guys, I highly recommend you do this. I used to think I used to never want to smile because I wanted to think I was the cool guy, I was the badass. But the funny thing was, I would always envy the people with a smile on their face because they looked like they were enjoying life while I was trying to pretend in life. And when you smile, it might feel like pretending at first, but you eventually get used to it, and then you become a little happier every time you smile, whether it's at someone else, at yourself in the mirror, or even talking thinking in general. You smile. It makes you feel better. If you're a guy, I'm sure if you had moments where if a girl smiles at you, you start thinking, you get a little happy because looking at you and smiling, because it shows that they are happy to see you, and that makes us feel good. We have that same power to do to everyone else. If you look at someone, whether it's an employee or a random person walking by, and you give them a good smile, you show them that you're happy to see them. Therefore, I highly recommend doing that. However, there is one important thing you need to do when smiling. When I first learned this concept from the book, this is how I would smile. I would look at someone, give them a quick, and then that's it. And I used to think, okay, I smiled, I did my part. But that did nothing. If anything, it makes it worse because it seems like I seem ingenuous, like I am a snake oil salesman trying to get something from them. So, in this book I learned called How to Talk to Anyone from Leil Lounge, she mentions one important thing, and it's smile slowly. This is called the flooding smile, and it's like you're flooding the gates open a little bit. And you do that, the smile becomes way more natural and it feels way more genuine. And it is genuine because that is how people smile when they are genuinely happy. Now, if you were like me and you're not used to smiling, you will need to practice this. I recommend going to the mirror and looking at yourself, looking away, looking back, and smile as slowly as possible. Do that, and then you do that a few times, and then you can slowly increase the speed a little bit until you feel happy with how you look. There is one more important thing she mentions in her book. When you smile, you shouldn't look at someone and then instantly smile. See, I'm still practicing. I need to work on this too. You shouldn't instantly smile because if you do that, instead, what you should do is look at someone, take a second, and then smile because it makes people feel like the smile is for them, and it is for them. You're smiling because you want the other person to know you feel happy around them. You wouldn't smile at someone you hate, you would avoid them. So if there's someone you want to impress or you feel happy to see, show them by looking at them, taking a second, and smiling. Practice that in the mirror for 5 minutes a day, and after a while you'll get used to it, and you'll form a habit of doing it. When you're out in public, it is also something to be aware of because if you've been doing this for a short amount of time, when you speak, you have to be constantly aware of how you smile because by doing that, you're essentially forming the habit of doing that, building the reps, and eventually you can smile naturally without having to think about it. And then you can focus on the next thing. Another thing I like to do for the flooding smile is crinkle my eyes a little bit because a natural smile is when your eyes crinkle. And if you are trying to do that naturally, if you're trying to make a flooding smile, if you squint your eyes a little bit while you smile, you give off that eye crinkle. That is another tip I recommend. Like everything else in communication, this is a skill and you need to put in the work to be good at it. 5 minutes a day, every day, for about a week. And if you haven't gotten it by then, you do one more week and you keep working on it until you get the smile. This is not something you try and you stop. You try and try again until you get it. That is the secret to being good at something. And that is all for this video. I will see you in the next one.